executive committee meeting. This meeting is being held in accordance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. The news media has been notified and a copy of the agenda has been made available to the public. Dr. Ivy, will you please confirm the record of attendance?
Yes, Mr. Thompson is not physically present today, but sends his regards, so we are in good hands. We have the vice chairwoman here to chair today's meeting, Ms. Chandler physically present, Dr. Rodney Thompson physically present. Ms. Davis is joining by phone. She is with us, but not physically. Ms. Shusheki, our ex officio representative, is physically present, and Mr. Shaw from staff is present as well. You have a quorum of the committee.
Great. Well, I thank you all for being here today and for your continued commitment to our work. I'll now call the meeting to order, and I'll go ahead with the invocation. Your Heavenly Father, we give thanks for all that you have provided for Liberty, our scholars, our dedicated teachers and staff and leaders. Guide and inspire our work here today and throughout the year. Amen. If you'll join me now and complete the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll read the mission statement. Liberty's STEAM Charter works to provide all students with equal access to world-class K-12 education in an academically rigorous and student-centered learning environment, creating graduates who will be thoughtful and engaged citizens prepared to take on the leadership challenges of the 21st century. Dr. Thompson, would you read the vision statement?
Yes. In partnership with our families and community, our vision is to provide real-world, interdisciplinary, personalized, and project-based learning experiences through a STEAM-based academic program where graduates become the next generation of leaders, employers, and employees who contribute to the economic well-being of their communities and families.
Okay. If there are no objections to approval of the consent agenda, the minutes from the previous meeting and today's meeting agenda stand approved. Dr. Ivy, I invite you to take the lead and walk us through today's discussion topics.
Yes, I'm happy to do that. The topics for today, as outlined on your agenda, are really going to be more of discussion, any questions that any directors have with our organizational goals to progress. That's the major thing that we really want to make sure everybody is clear on with the numbers of where we stand with our metrics. We're also going to receive any committee updates from our representatives here, specifically for finance and academics and governance. We do have a couple documents to look at with succession planning, and then other items that directors have here.
Correct.
Thank you. All right, if nothing else needs to be added, we'll move right in. Awesome. We do have our new rally cry that we do want to bring to this committee here. It is already posted on our website. This is really just for your information. This was an action item from a couple of executive committee meetings ago where our chairman challenged us to the rule of 5, and so we have all of our metrics that we're going to be tracking on the rally cry. This is separate from the organizational goals in just groups of 5. So you see primary and elementary have their 5, and then network has its 5 as well. When we look at the rally cry, this is what we are measuring the most important things that have to get done over the next 5 to 6 months. And so obviously facilities, you've heard a lot of conversations about facilities, so that's the visual culture piece. And so when you get this on Mondays, you every Monday get our red, yellow, green scorecard. It's going to look like this now. So we have sent out the last one for the fall or semester 1, and we're retiring that. So we're moving away from what we needed to get right by end of January, and now we're moving into the second semester. And so wanted to make sure that you saw this. But we had a great offsite with Melissa from the Table Group last week. Mr. Shaw was a part of that. Every time she comes, we reset our rally cry. And so Sally and Leandre had a chance to bring what they want to measure, and then their teams come in on the following day and we cascade it down. And so we reach consensus on what is green, what is going to be yellow, and what would be, of course, red. So I wanted to make sure that you actually saw this as it goes out on board communication going forward. And we met our chairman's challenge to get it down to 5. Just to name one piece on there that's brand new, you'll see common formative assessments. So Ms. Chandler, Dr. Thompson, you both were present when Dr. McDonald led the whole staff in an all-call on our state testing data and our subgroup achievement data. And the outcome of that all-call was we are moving towards assessing scholars through a Mastery Connect platform where teachers are designing what we call a common formative assessment that will be administered monthly. Then next year, there will be an interim assessment that network team designs that each scholar will take quarterly. And so CSGF, one of the 3 things they asked us to do was to beef up our assessments and tracking and being able to use that data to leverage coaching cycles. And so this is brand new, and so you'll see this, we're actually in the middle of our first CFA window right now. So no more progress monitoring. Scholars are going to be taken on Mastery Connect, a teacher-created assessment, and it's the same assessment for the entire grade level. Whereas before, you know, what Dr. Thompson thought was necessary for his group, Ms. Chandler may have thought something necessary. So being more consistent, being more aligned, and moving the needle there. Questions on the rally cry? Feel good about it? All right, awesome. All right, we can move into the organizational goal report card. I know Dr. Thompson from Finance, his committee has already had a chance to receive all of the information. Ms. Shusheki has received that information. Ms. Chandler, you of course received the lion's share because it is under academics. But this is our mid-year report card. Just like scholars got a report card, Ms. Shusheki, in January, our parents got their report card on volunteer hours, and now the organization gets its report card. And so these are the 16 things that we, you know, I call them the bathroom posters. And so everything that we think is going to move us from good to excellent, we're measuring in those 5 different buckets there. And so as you can see, the only, you know, what I would consider to be off track, like we are not where we need to be, and it always is this time of year, is our reading and math proficiency, which is like the #1 most important thing, right? We want to get scholars to 85%. They just took their mid-year math assessments. We are finishing up our mid-year evaluation conferences today, actually. All staff there's 2x2, where they get a chance to report out on their goals and give feedback to their manager. Manager gives them feedback. And so it's all grounded in all of these metrics here. But I will call your attention to the growth targets. Like we are above the organizational goal. We are above in our CSI. CSI are our scholars in the 0 to 40th percentile. So those are the scholars that are not, they're on the bottom part or the left side of the bell-shaped curve.
Remind me, CSI.
Critical student intervention scholars. So those are the scholars, you would have all of our exceptional needs scholars that are in there, usually in the 0 to 20th percentile, and then those low bubble kids, high bubble kids would be in that next group. So we're tracking those kids separately. And so, so that's college and career readiness. If you look at operational excellence, as Ms. Hanson goes down, for the first time ever, we're meeting our breakfast goal. So when you see Ms. Dinkins, last year we consistently met our lunch goal because we beefed up that promotion and participation and restacked the menus with the scholars' favorite choices while meeting USDA guidelines. But we've never met the breakfast goal at report out benchmarks. You know, we meet it here and there, but hey, 75% is exactly where we're at. ADA, really proud of ADA and where we're at. We have those weekly meetings to triage that list. Our next step in ADA is looking at our chronic absenteeism, because we're trying to get that number down to fewer than 30 scholars this year. Last year we had 41, the year before we had 141. So chronic absenteeism are those scholars that are they miss 10% or more of the entire school year for any absence. You all know that we added into the attendance policy, there are some remediation, if you will, if a scholar has too many medical absences, right? So there's some beefed up expectations, but on the front end, there's a lot more interventions, and so we're meeting that goal. You see volunteer hours. Next week is the last week before re-enrollment opens back up, and all parents have to have 5 of their hours accounted for in order to be eligible for re-enrollment. We are at 92% of where parents should be, so we do have a small list, and we're working through those one-on-one touch points with those parents there. The one document that I would ask everyone to really read in preparation for Monday's meeting, because Monday you're going to get the state of the school address from each academy director, is the staff satisfaction survey. And so I'm so glad Charter School Growth Fund asked us to look at this. Ms. Hanson is gonna pull this up. You know, what I would say is we've used Great Place to Work. Ms. Shusheki, are you familiar with Great Place to Work? Okay. And so we've used Great Place to Work as our staff engagement survey, if you will, for the last 5 years. It's catered towards private companies, right? It's not really useful information for K-12 in education. But what I like about this, if you'll just indulge for a minute, Ms. Hanson, if you'll go down to we could just go to the 3rd slide. So we know network-wide, so we have 89% of our staff, and we've met our participation goal. We only had 7 out of the whole organization that did not complete the survey, right? So you know, every time I bring survey results to y'all, I always lead by saying, let's look at our participation goal, right? And this is all customized by email addresses, so you can't go and complete each other's surveys, right? So we not only met our participation goal, we're 1 point off what our org goal poster says. We want 90% of our staff to say that they are overall satisfied at Liberty. 89% is where we are now with every team combined in the organization. When you look at PA, it's 91%. When you look at EA, it's 84%. We have food services, we have special pops. We could break it down even further. I love this tool. And so all of our academy directors, our team managers have got to come in and spend an hour on Zoom with a representative. And while we do have some area of growth, right? Look at our 70s, right? These are the domains at the bottom, right? And so our Spark representative just said several times, like, hey, you might think that your 70 is low, but that's not bad, is what they're telling us. And of course, we reiterated to them, hey, we want it to be 90% overall, but the internal goal is 80% for every domain, And so our spring goal will now be to bring up the 3 lowest domains, and we're calling them our big rocks. So you're gonna hear on Monday what each academy director is committed to doing to bringing up the 3 lowest scoring domains. And it's not just what they think. They had to do a focus group, they had to work with their executive coach, and so we took a whole different approach this year. It's the most meaningful that we've ever processed out of a survey, I think, on the staff side. And so, but you have a lot of data in here to look at. We can break it down by how long the person's been with Liberty. So if we want to look at just our founding staff and see what they're saying, we can pull out a report. If we want to break it down by race and look at issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, this tool allows us to do it, right? And so if it's anything that you read, take an opportunity to read through this and be ready on Monday to ask any questions. I'll pause. Is there anything that you may have already looked at that you want to talk about?
Well, I appreciate the fact that our school leaders, they're going to have an opportunity, that they are already in the process of identifying ways to address their 3 rocks.
Yep.
And so that's,
And today is the last day that they had to roll out their presentation that you're gonna see on Monday to each of their
Address it.
teams.
and they'll
Yeah.
get team feedback?
They're doing it right now.
Okay.
Yep, so literally as we speak, I believe Ms. Harris is meeting with her last group.
Mhm.
Leandre has met, he's got a smaller staff, so he's already met with his group.
Mm-hmm.
So, Spark reiterated to us, like, you've gotta go above and beyond and make sure staff know that they did the survey, great, what are we gonna do about it?
Mhm.
And so how do we release this in a version that's easy to understand to them? Liberty does a great job of putting out its icons and, hey, this is how many people did it, and we give category totals, but we've never dug deep in and reported out to staff.
Mhm.
So this is a big change for us.
Stands out a little bit to me, is just, there's no outliers, everything's pretty much in the same range, which I think is a good sign, so
Yeah.
it looks just a tweak here or a tweak there, but
Mhm.
nothing major. No major overhauls and, or anything shocking.
I would think growth in advance, I would think 72 is good, 71, I mean, that's just a hard one everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to feel like they've got growth and advancement opportunities. But,
Mhm.
I mean, teachers, because you got 80 teachers, and I don't know how they get
Exactly.
advancement.
Our lowest scoring question on the survey was the question was, how often do you have a chance to discuss your progress? And I was very surprised at the number. But, we talked about it with our representative about how that could be interpreted, and because every staff member gets a check-in with their manager. Mr. Shaw does his check-in with Mr. Baker every Wednesday at 7:30, and so it's a chance really designed to discuss your progress, but how can we tweak that to be more intentional about what is their definition of progress and what's Liberty's definition of progress under growth and advancement?
Right, and reiterating that that's the purpose of those check-ins, is to have those conversations, yeah.
But Gifford, you bring up a good point. It would behoove us if we didn't acknowledge what, Ms. Chandler, you got to observe in action yesterday. I'm so jealous because while I was visiting what I think is the Disney of all charter schools, you got to see collective leadership
In action.
in action,
Well,
which is to
not-
keep people where they are and to feed leadership opportunities from where you are. And so we had almost 60 people from across the state come visit Liberty yesterday, including the State Department of Education. And I heard great things from visitors. Would love to give you the rest of my time because I haven't even heard from you how it went.
It went wonderfully. Truly, our collective leadership initiative was on full display yesterday. And Ms. Carlisle, all of the school leaders stepped up, and your taped remarks were very well received. But it was wonderful to see it in action, and the way they had set up stations in classrooms and divided the participants from other public charter schools, from South Carolina Department of Education, and some consultants who were there, go through and hear about the Liberty story and how we approach learning and growth opportunities. But I helped with the path table. We had, it wasn't all hands on deck demonstration, and the feedback that we received from our participants really reflected so well, not only on the teachers, what they heard from the teachers in their presentations, but also our scholar ambassadors who were posted at various stops, the engagement, the encounter that they had with the scholars. I think they walked away with a great appreciation for what we're doing, and I think they were very impressed.
Yeah.
So kudos to all of the planning, the organization, and
Ms. McLeod.
Ms.
it was all
McLeod
hands
had,
on deck, right,
she
yeah.
was there bright and early,
That's
everything was set up, it was,
That's right.
it was beautifully done, and it made me very proud to be
Well,
a
this should
board
make you
member.
even prouder, right?
Okay.
So, you know, Ms. Yusheki, I know, this is the first time you probably heard about CLI, but it really goes to that question on the survey, discussing a staff member's progress and the idea that you don't need a title to be a leader,
Sure.
right? You don't need a title. And to Mr. Shaw's point, you know, when you look at traditional education, okay, well, if you're a teacher, what's my next step in my upward mobility, right? And there's not a whole lot, right, in the traditional hierarchy. And so Liberty has bought in, as part of our charter application, is to blur the lines between those who teach and those who lead. It can be tricky. It can be tricky, but here's an even more of a loud proof point, and this is hot off the press. Our teachers are just seeing this today, and shout out to Ms. Hanson for figuring out how you can see the most important thing, which is the trend over time. So our teachers take these surveys from the State Department twice a year. We take it at the beginning of the year, 3 times a year. The beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and at the end of the year. And they ask them 10 things. So I'm looking at primary, so look at the top and go to primary. We track the teachers' data from December 2 years ago to where they are now. So if you look at the most important question on that whole survey, CLI will tell you is the last question. Do you consider yourself to be a teacher leader beyond the classroom? So look at what our number was. We went from 75 to 80% at the PA. Now you look at all that green in the blue boxes. That means the numbers are higher than the cohort. So we are a part of a group of schools that are all committing to doing this. So red means obviously we went down, but look at the trend over time. You don't see no yellow boxes, right? And so then you go to elementary, which has our larger staff population. You look at 2 years ago, 74% of staff, teachers, and this is only a survey for teachers. You gotta be a certified person to take this survey. So it's not support staff. 74% said they see themselves as a teacher leader 2 years ago. Today, 80% say they see themselves as a teacher leader. We had a couple of dips the last couple of years, but look at where we are now. And so, you know, as our board chairman would say, everything that gets measured gets inspected, and this is something else that should make you proud. It makes me proud because CLI I'm very passionate about, and to see all the pictures and what you got to experience, and then our survey data, right, to actually prove it. All right. Are there any questions on the board goals? Awesome. We will move into, if we could, Ms. Hanson, for our site assessment reports, that was tied to our safety inspections from the State Department of Education. The only thing that we still have left to do, we have some signage that we had to order. We do need to take that as an action step to find out if the signage is here. It was being shipped from a company in Texas, just some new signs at the PA specifically around trespassing and like there needed to be a sign on no games, that sort of thing. And so we just need to, everything else is on track with that. And then we will move into committee reports, if we could. On the academic side, there was some recommendations that are coming out from our ED Best Practices Academics Task Force on the grading policy manual updates, which they had jurisdiction of. We're not asking for approval at the January board meeting Monday. We'll be asking for it at March. But if you have questions as you read through the documentation, there's some changes in the homework policy, and the grading floor would be not a thing. It would not be allowed in the middle school and beyond. So a scholar would earn what grade that they do earn beginning in 6th grade. So you have a full report out in terms of all the surveys and focus groups that were conducted on that. The other piece of the academics, I'm really excited because the next time the full board will sit in March, we will already have had our accreditation review. And I know that, all of you all weighed in at the summer retreat on, you know, do we really need to prioritize that this year? It has gone exceptionally well. And so, I mean, we're already starting those conversations about high school and what's our program of study gonna be. And our scholars are gonna need that on their transcripts, that they're graduating from an accredited school. And so our visit is scheduled for the early part of March. And so, there will be, executive committee will be asked to join in on the findings from our evaluation team. So really excited, we're on track with that. Dr. McDonald has done a great job of spearheading the collection of our evidence and our narratives. And we just had a check-in last night with our lead evaluator, Dr. Allreed, who was from Myrtle Beach, and you had a chance to meet Allreed from the initial review in the fall. All right, outside of academics, yeah, we can move into, I don't know if you want to report out on anything with Eagle Advantage, that we did talk about, we gave a presentation in academic committee. We are utilizing our retired teachers again, pretty much to the same extent from last year.
I had a chance to meet several of them yesterday morning, but they started, I believe, Tuesday this week, and we'll be going through the spring, working with, how many, 40, or is it more?
Oh, it's in terms
80?
of students?
Yeah,
Almost 350 kids.
Okay.
I believe almost between
Okay.
all of it said and done, I think there's 350. In fact, we can go up, Ms. Hanson, because that number is.
230
230.
and then 130.
Yeah, so when you add them together between our
260.
current existing interventionists and our additional interventionists.
Okay.
And this is to pull out our very intentionally